the hour. Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey Scott, thank you. Not a whole lot. Hey Jamie, how are you?
Doing okay over here, Andy. Happy Thursday to you and everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Just another day, and we have another weekend. They roll around pretty quickly lately. It seems like
Hmm
as you get older. Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for joining the trading studio. My name is Andy, and that is Jamie that is talking to me right now, and Scott is kind of manning the ship. So. And thank you so much again for joining us. This is the Trading Studio. Let's dive into the disclaimer. Okay, first, we are a content publisher. Okay, this is for educational purposes only. I'm going to be talking about, and Jamie will too, some possible trades, some setups, things that might look good to you, but just keep in mind that this is not investment advice. Okay, we're not qualified to give you that. It's for education. If you are seeking investment advice, look for somebody who holds a license. That would be a broker or a registered advisor. All right, let's dive in to the support, education, and training. Bear with us, you regulars who come in here every webinar and have to go through this, but it's important that we let our new people that are in here how much we value the support and education and training here. We know it's a very powerful software, and it is our job to help you with it, and we do that. And we do that with many resources. A few of them you see located there on the left side of the screen. The Traders Room, it's not just for trading. It's a great place to go to get help as well. Obviously, Barry will spend the first couple of hours probably actively trading, and so will the people in the room. But when things slow down, he encourages people to ask questions. He can demonstrate for you because you're able to see the software. So that can be a great place to go to get education. Then we have these webinars that you're attending today. We have them every Monday through Thursday at 5 Eastern time. We encourage interaction, like many of you are doing right now, asking questions in there. Jamie's looks like he's on top of all the answering for you. So that's good. That's what we want. And then probably the main venue, I would say, is the support webinar down here at the bottom, Monday through Friday, every day at 12 Eastern time. What we do is we open up a GoToWebinar, and I'm sorry, I keep so used to that. It's a live stream. We take over Barry's live stream for an hour, and it of course has a chat window in it, so you can ask questions. You're looking at our desktop, and we can help you there. That's an hour long of nothing but Q&A. Great place to go, guys. If you just got the software and you have some questions that you want answered, go to that support webinar Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time. Just in case you did not know, we have a simulated trading interface, and we call it Brokerage Plus. Okay, it's a great tool to test your trading strategies, your portfolio management skills. You do not need to have a broker connection. You do not need to fund an account. Everything's done right on our interface. So I tell you what, back when I first started, that would be worth the subscription value alone, just to be able to have someplace I can go and paper trade and see my results and keep track of my P&L. So it's a great little tool, and it's no extra charge to you. Just have to have a standard subscription. So, and please, if you're new to trading, spend some time, 3 or 4 months in there of just paper trading. Like to tell everybody all the time, you got to treat this like a business. You're just not going to jump in any business that you start. You're just not going to jump in as just killing it. No, most people stay in the red for 6 months to a year. So same thing could be can't happen in trading. Thing about Trade Ideas, it's going to help you shorten that learning curve for sure, but you still need to kind of pay your dues. The beautiful thing is you can do it with very little cost because you control your share size. So anyway, use that paper trader. It's for your benefit. Agenda for today, we're going to talk, do the market recap. Kind of sluggish, I think, and I would not be surprised to see this until after the election. Actually, it's going to be a topic for today. Then Jamie's going to do the Holly recap. A couple of good trades in there today, and Jamie always good about breaking that down for us. And then it's an interesting topic. This is more for swing trading, or looking for opportunity as maybe an investment. I like to spend. We have a lot of people who like to swing trade. They're not these geeked out scalpers like I was for 17 years. They like to come in there and find opportunity on a swing scalp. And I'm going to share a new top list here, but the trick is to find these pivot and trend lines. And so, hi Mike, how are you, buddy? So we'll definitely spend time on that. I think you guys will like this this portion of it. Then I'm going to briefly talk about what I'm seeing in pre-election trading right now over the last week or two, and what could continue until after the election. And then of course we got our price alert winners, and then we'll set a few more. That's if we have time. We should have time. I don't think we're gonna string it out that long today. But let's back out and let's pull up the old spies here, and let's talk a little bit about them. All right, this is the daily chart of the SPY. Okay, this is comprises of about 500 pretty equally weighted, big cap stocks. Not all, I guess there's some medium cap in there too as well, but nonetheless, it's a really good barometer of what the market's doing. The overall market is probably the best one. It's just what all hedge funds are compared against, so, and mutual funds. So let's take a dive here and what we're looking at. All right, let me get my pen going. And as you can see, over the last what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 or 7 trading days, we really, haven't done a whole lot. It's been kind of a downtrend since we got here close to all-time highs. Looked like we may be heading that direction, and then lo and behold, over the last basically 7 or 8 trading days, we've been kind of in. A lot of people could call this a flag pattern potentially. There would be your flag, but nice little channel going down right now. Now, all that being said, we really hadn't had a bar reversal. We kind of had one there. I shouldn't say that. We had a fake one there. That was a gap up, I believe. But the trend has kind of been down. We're down below the fast line right there. And then, look what happened today. We bounced right off this upward sloping 20-period moving average. So we're kind of pinned right now in between, the 10 and the 20. We'll have to see what happens. Honestly, I'm not looking to get real excited, if we break out above this level, just because of, the all important election that we have coming up. I do think it could have an impact, on the market. I'm gonna save that for a later
We
time.
filled that third little gap there
yes,
today, didn't we, Andy?
Very, thank you, Jamie. Yeah, this is what we talked about. Okay, we had a gap here that we filled. We had a gap here that we filled on this day, and then lo and behold, we did fill this gap right here. We got actually the closing price of that gap today, and then bounced right off the 20. So, the setup is still bullish. There's not a lot of bearish here. Now, if we've dropped below these moving averages the next couple of days, yeah, then we can start talking. Maybe the bears will start jumping up and pounding their chest a little bit, hollering. But for right now, it's kind of a nice little flag pattern, like I mentioned. But once again, it's hard for me to get excited about it, just because of the price action I've seen lately in a lot of my stocks. And this little fund that we trade, just noticing, I'm going to save that. I'm not going to jump into it, but let's take a look at the Qs real quick, and we will back out of it. And really, this actually went all the way down to its 50 period right here and bounced off that. So a little bit further of a kind of a plunge there in the Qs, but still bounced back. And in between, it's 10 and it's 20. And we did not have a reversal on this day. So now you basically got, well, I'll take that back. A gap up there got us there, but at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days without a bar reversal. So, I would keep an eye on the Qs. If you see, continue to see weakness in the Qs, and it does break below today's low, which would be the 50-period moving average, that could definitely lead some pain in the other averages as well, because we know the tech stocks are the ones that's been leading the way. And real quickly on the IWM, since it's been holding up rather well going into Yeah, and still, look at that. Still showing strength, relative strength there. It's above its 10-period moving average. So there is some money kind of flowing into the Russell 2000 stocks, the smaller cap stocks. So, and not only that, your channel is not really going down like I showed you in the SPY. This is more of kind of a sideways channel. So definitely some relative strength there in the IWM. So keep an eye on that, set an alert if it breaks out, maybe have a move there in the pretty much what's been lagging for a very long time, the IWM. Maybe they want to take the reins for a while. We'll see. All right, Jamie, anything you want to add to that?
Nah, we were all just waiting for that third gap to get filled, and it did, and bounced
Yep.
back up. But as you were saying, we've got other things out there that could impact the markets. So let's just kind of hurry up and wait. And then tomorrow's already Friday, so pretty sleepy day today, unless some big macro news hits tomorrow. I would think it's going to be pretty sleepy again tomorrow, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, it very well could be. And yeah, the gaps you could see in the SPY is the last couple these 2 days right here, not including the day, which was kind of a gap down that moved higher. Boy, they were sold on both of these two, especially this one. Pretty much a good gap up there and just got slammed pretty much all day. All right, Jamie, would you like to take over and go over with the Holly trades real quick?
Absolutely, and lo and behold, it's a Thursday, and we actually have some conservative and moderate spread to look at today. It's been
Nice.
kind of dry over the past Thursdays, but looks like Holly's finally adjusting to these market conditions, and not a bad day for the AI. Not the best day either, but let's take a look here. So focusing on the channel bar over here, where we're assuming 100 shares per trade, 1.0, 2.0 kind of cancel each other out here, up 53 bucks on 2.0, down 36 on 1.0. But then you have Neo kicking out 2 trades and making, we'll just call that on 100 shares, about 4 points there. Now, if we look down here, and of course this is 100 shares per trade, which most people aren't doing that out there. They're, managing their risk mainly with, well, if you're like me, you want to risk a certain amount per trade. So all the numbers that you're going to be seeing on my Holly trades plotter here are based around using $100 as a stop loss, and then letting the system size me accordingly as far as shares go. So if we kind of pivot through the risk modes here, if you were just buying everything and holding until 5 minutes before the close, you didn't do so well in aggressive mode. Conservative, down a smidge, 86.33, and moderate winning the day. If you're just using stop losses and holding until 5 minutes before the close, that's what this number is reflective of here, $17.24 in moderate mode. So, as far as a tally goes, not the best tally, but still some decent trades and some other things that we can kind of look between the cracks here. And so a couple different topics that I always like to touch base on here. Number one, any spread between conservative and moderate, and how we might have taken advantage of that while the market is open and these trades are still in play, because obviously we're looking back in hindsight here. Hindsight's always 20/20. But focusing on this trade here, we'll take a look at SO first. And you can see here in conservative mode, why did Holly get out? We got the timed exit. Timed exit came up. She does what she's programmed to do, makes 50 bucks, but had we stayed in it, could have made almost 4 times that amount. But during the day, how would we know, should I stay in this one or not? Well, taking a look at SO up here, buy signal comes right here at 59.60. And then shortly after, we get a little bump up, which is always great. We always like that little immediate gratification. And the shaded area right here, where it ends, right about in this little doji candle, is where Holly exited the trade. We can also see the corresponding exit time over here as well. But the bottom line is this: we just got some sideways action here, but the timed hold expired, so she exited. When we get a nice run up like this and a little sideways consolidation, that's always a good sign in my opinion. Stock's just taking a little break, because what is a consolidation? Buyers and sellers just became equal for a period of time, and you can see all the way out to here is when the consolidation ended. So not only was this a good signal just to buy and hold and ignore Holly's stop exit or timed exit here, We could have just sat with what we had and just waited it out. What happens over here is a great time to maybe add to the position, marking off the bottoms of these wicks here, this little channel right here. Would have came close if we were adding to the position right here and using the bottoms of these candles or the bottoms of these wicks as a stop. Came really close, but wouldn't have got you out, would have stayed in. So whether you just ignored Holly's exit and stayed in, making almost 4 times the amount as we see here in the conservative profit column, or whether you added to the position right here, could have made even more, and it would have kept you in the trade all the way to the close. This one holding up nicely going into the close there. So not a bad trade on the long side in SO today. Some good conservative and moderate spread there. And then we got TAL, which is a downside or short trade. Kind of similar, a little bit more drastic of a down move, which is always good. As soon as we make the entry here at 70.92 for the next 1, 2, 3, 45 minutes, this thing does exactly what one would hope a short trade would do. Just careens on down, bottoms out right around 67.29. You can see here the spread 40. Let's just round that up to 44 bucks, 80 bucks. So a little over a 4x value there, I'd say, which isn't too shabby. And on this one, more of the same. Would also like to point out when the stock did take a little bump up here, look what sent it back down. You got that 10 period acting as the hammer, little breather, little pop back up, 10 period gets it, slams it back down here. So there was one little add opportunity towards the end of the day here, right about here. Coinciding with that range break. So just sitting tight with this one, even a break-even stop loss would have kept you in this. Nice little gap there between where it rebounded and that entry line. But just a very solid trade on the short side in the TAL with a little bit of time here in the last hour if you really wanted to press that thing as the opening range break comes into play as well. Let's just circle back around here and let's check out the 10 period on this one. So once again, Steve always likes to point out this 10 period and how when a stock is in momentum, typically this controls it. Same way with SO on the upside, got a little bleedy right here, but reclaimed it in about 45 minutes. Same thing we have going on right here in the TAL downside. Instead of riding the top, this thing's keeping it nice and tapped down pretty much all day. Perfect to that 10 period fast line. So some decent spread in TAL as well. Now when it comes to this one, RHI, not the prettiest chart that we've seen after looking at those last two, but still a big difference between losing almost 60 bucks and by the end of the day, staying in it, you would have made 125 or so. Bottom line on this one, especially on days like today where we got a lot of back and forth, the SPY was flat, down a little bit, back up to 0.5, 0.6 right here. It was just like a Neapolitan day all day, a lot of pink, green, and white, so to speak, the old Neapolitan color scheme. But getting back on this one, your best bet here would have been to stick with your hard stop. I mean, this thing its back was broken, just kind of ebbing and flowing all day. But that's why we have stops, and this one came close to stopping us out on this little wick right here, but it didn't. So in this one, you just had to stick with your guns, be patient, and pulling out the stops here in the last 15-minute period, getting all the way back up to highs. So a decent spread there as well, between a -60 and 125. We could call that almost a $200 spread since we got a negative value over here. So a couple of add-on opportunities in LYV and CNC, or excuse me, SO and TAL. Solid trades. Not the prettiest chart here on RHI, but the hard stop would have kept us in, and a couple of add opportunities in SO and TAL. Now, typically I like to talk about, potential trade arounds, which are predominantly the ones that get stopped out, and that's CNC and LYV. So CNC got pretty far below its stop area. We get the buy signal up here. Unfortunately, in the next 45 minutes, we get stopped out pretty quickly here. What's interesting is when the stock rebounds, take one little pop above that 10 period, Nope, comes back in down here and goes through the stop area one more time before finally tightening up and not only getting back above the stop area, but reclaiming that 10 period. And then we did have some nice upside momentum, okay? Just the timing was not in play here. As soon as we got the reclamation of the stop area and the 10 period on the second try, and there was a little bit of action potentiated from this stop area acting as a more or less pivot point. Kind of the same song and dance in LY. All right. When I see a stock like this, CNC, get way down here, you know, it doesn't really tickle my fancy that much as, you know, trying to predict if it's going to make it back up there. Whereas this one, a little bit different because of the action that we had below the stop area. We got this nice wick put down, reclaim the 10 period, and then shortly thereafter, right back up to the stop area. And then you can see once they got back above this area, you know, it pretty much held its own. Once again, that 10 period in control there. So CNC, you know, if you would have tried the first time, stop out, second time. In other words, the second mouse got the cheese on this one as a trade around, whereas LYV, if we were keying off this wick here and the reclamation of the 10 period, would have worked on the first try. And Andy, that's about all I got for the Holly recap, unless there's another symbol on here that you might want to take a look at before I kick it back over to you.
No, I think you covered it really well. Just want to show Roxana real quick how she can get all the trades on there on that on your AI trades
sure.
window.
So, you know, here we have the all trades window. Now, of course, we could always pivot around to one of these, the Omni AI channel. That's one way to get to it. But let's say, oops, I don't have my window anymore. To get the all trades blotter, simplest path is just to click new here and just click on the AI Holly strategy trades window. Then it pops right back up there. And as long as you have a segment, where did my segment column go here? I guess since I responded it, there we go. Got to pull it back over here. This way, you can identify which segment is producing the trade. Holly 2.0, Neo, so forth and so on. So that's the easiest way to get that window right back up.
But it also show her how you can right click and choose if you only want to look at one segment or if you want to look at all of them.
Oh yeah, well let me get my, where did my, you can't come down here and pick the segments. You know, if you only want to watch Neo, you do that, okay? And you'd only see the two Neo trades. So you can watch all segments by here, or you can pick and choose which segments you would like to see. Now, my strategy menu, you can also filter over here as well, open positions, closed positions, or if you only want to see particular strategies. If all I wanted to see was downward dog, I would click that one. Downward momentum or any of these other strategies, if I only clicked on downward momentum, you'd only see the plays from that specific strategy. So a couple of different ways to sort and display information on the all trades blotter.
All right.
I think she got it. She said thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So here comes the baton, Andy.
All right. Let me get me a drink of water real quick. All right. So a lot of times what I like to do, obviously, a lot of you people that know me and some of my swing trading, I started looking for an opportunity, you know, to buy on pullbacks, not just looking for setups that could potentially be explosive, kind of like the one Neo I've been showing you guys a lot. But I also like to look for stocks that are pulling back, had a pretty aggressive pullback, and maybe hitting a pivot or a trend line. And it's tough to do. There's very few, if any, softwares out there and that can alert you, you know, when a stock is at a trend. And I know I'm you know, banging the table with Michael, hoping that we can eventually get something like that. So, but for right now, there's workarounds where you can kind of just build an alert. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But first, I want to talk about the strategy behind this, okay? And this is just kind of one of those stocks I follow, like a lot of people, the DKNG. And, you know, the momentum is obviously gone from this stock. A lot of people, were playing it, after sports opened back up. Okay, this thing started ramping up, and then all of a sudden, boy, it kind of reached a pinnacle here and really sold off hard over in pretty much all month. And but there comes I like to pick up shares at a discount, and when I do this, I buy it a chunk at a time. Now it's funny because Jamie and I traded this fund where I was in it, and I actually got stopped out yesterday, but I also bought it in my personal account. And what I did on this day right here, I really kind of love this setup after it sold off all this time and then put in this bottoming tail and put in a nice little, tiny hammer there, or maybe just call it a spinning top with but you can see the buyers came in and pushed it up. So on this next day, I kind of jumped the gun. It didn't take out that high. Okay, I think it actually matched it, but didn't take it out. But I jumped the gun a little bit, bought it around 44 because I saw the volume coming in. I think, boy, this thing's going to turn. But it's still in a nasty downtrend. I know this could have, be more pain in it. So what I will do in a situation like this, I will not go in with my full size. Okay, I will buy a half of a position if I'm really, kind of confident it's going to turn, or maybe in this case a third of a position, because I didn't like the market, the way it's been trending, and just seeing a lot of selling going on lately. Anytime we get a gap up, and I wasn't crazy about this stop. We're now below our moving averages. It's in a downtrend, so I need to find something positive about this setup. And a lot of times it's not all moving averages. Okay, I love trend lines and I love pivot areas. So what I did, taking a look at this chart, I backed out, and lo and behold, and don't pay any attention to all these pink and green. That's just me working on my day trading skills. So don't pay attention to all those lines. But nonetheless, you can see here, if we drew a line right here, we are pretty much at a pivot level. Now, obviously, it blew through this top over here. That's okay. And then these are things are not going to be exact. It doesn't bother me when they bleed down below them a little bit. On the big, I'm not day trading these. I'm looking for a position that I can build on and have a really nice entry. Okay, so look at there. So we got a pivot line here. So what else do we have? Let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. There we go. Let's take a look at the trend. All right, we got a level right there. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Level right there. And pretty much take this back. Hold on. I'll get it here in a minute. Okay, there you have it. So it's on its trend line. It came down to me. Yeah, this, not only do you have a nice little pivot line, you also have a nice little trend line here. So in the big picture, this is an uptrend. Obviously, it's a new issue. It only goes back to, what is that, April? And it is still in an uptrend, okay? And it's still holding on to its trend line as of going back to July. So a crucial level there. Now, I do want it to hold above this. So to me, that is a great entry, even though, okay, I did buy another third today and pretty much close to its trend line at lows, okay? So now I got probably 2/3 of a position, and I'm in this stock, and no commission. So it's very wise to buy chunks when you're I hate to say bottom fishing, but it's kind of what it is. It's not really a bottom on a longer term chart, but you're definitely going against the grain, that's for sure. So, I mean, it still has work to do. I'm not comfortable with it. It still, still hasn't done a bar reversal in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So, the only constructive thing about it is the pivot level and the trend line, which to me is very powerful. I know if I can hit this and say it reverses tomorrow and I buy another third, I'll still have to deal with these moving averages if it gets up here, but I still like my position, okay? These are the kind of positions, where you can really do very well if it does succeed and it does bounce and gets through these moving averages. because let's face it, a lot of traders wouldn't even buy it till it maybe got above that level right there. So I love trying to kind of look for areas on the daily chart to where it may be a good good opportunity to go in with a small position. Now, all that being said, if it closes below this trend line, okay, I got to get out, okay, because then you're breaking your trend, and there's no telling this thing. It could go all the way down here now, and I'm not looking to take that kind of risk for sure. So I definitely want it to hold this trend line, because if it doesn't hold that trend line, not only that, it's breaking this pivot level and this trend line. All right. So I said to myself today, I said, you know what? It'd be great if I could create an alert to find little setups like this. Well, here's the thing. I can create an alert that will find DraftKings for me, but it's not going to find the pivots and the trend lines. Okay, we're not there yet. Hopefully we'll be there in the future. But so what I did is just started thinking, and I built it, and I'll share it with you guys. And we'll look at some of the other ones in there. And I call it my pivot and trend helper. So, and it's amazing. The first time I put in my parameters that I wanted to see, the only thing that came up was DraftKings. So I was really, really happy about that. All right. So what did I do? Okay. Once again, I just start thinking in my head, looking at DraftKings chart. What do I see here? Well, the first thing I put in here was position in yearly range. Okay. It is at least 50%. It's in its upper half of its yearly range. Okay, so I'll put a minimum of 50. Okay, so I know the chart can't be that ugly if it's in the upper portion of its, the upper half of its position in the year range. What else did I want to see? Well, I wanted to make sure I've seen a sell-off. Okay, I'm looking for opportunity to pull back to a level, a trend, or a pivot level. So what did I do? I put change in 20 days, needs to be at least down 10%. Anybody can look at this chart and you can see that it's gone from basically about 64 all the way down to 40. So you're probably looking at close to a 35%, correction there in that thing. So this has really come off. Average daily volume has to do at least 500,000 shares a day. And I put this position in range. Now this is the intraday range. So you don't have to use something like this. Going forward, I think it's a good idea to catch the stocks, maybe at least if they're on the upper 20% of their intraday range, because at least they're bouncing, midday. Maybe the selling is not as strong as the buying at this point, because it has sold off, but now the buyers have come in and pushed it to the upper portion of its intraday range, which can be a sign that maybe the selling is drying up and maybe the buyers are coming in. So I think I covered it all. Change in 20 days. Oh yeah, position in 20-day range. I do want it in the lower 20% of its 20-day range. I don't want to catch a big bounce and be looking at it right here in the on its moving averages. That's too late for me. I want an early look at these. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other ones. There's DraftKings, of course, you see it in there. And what you're going to have to do, let me just make that chart big again so we can get a good look at this. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, we definitely have a chart. That's a strong chart. I mean, it's still going from lower left to upper right. And what do we have? Do we have an area we can look at? Well, let's zoom in a little bit and see. We definitely see some resistance there. Somebody could, we could argue that this right here is a pivot level. You have a level right here that was resistance, hit it again, got through. Okay, now it becomes support, backed up. So, and then look how it kind of held this area. So now we have a kind of a pivot level. And trend, I'm not seeing much of a trend here. Okay, it had such a move from March. I'm just not seeing a trend right here. So only thing we're dealing with is a pivot level. So you could always put an alert in here. To me, this is, to me, I would rather find something that has a little bit better of a trend line, but you know, to each his own. It still could be a great opportunity. That one is too messy. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm not going to even look at that one. CLDR, let's take a look. Do we have a trend? Or do we have a, I'm not seeing a trend. Well, maybe let's draw this first and see if where it's bouncing here. Okay, somewhat of a pivot level. You can see this, you know, congestion back over here that it finally gapped up and got through. And once again, we got that level, hit that level again, came down here. So one can argue that this is not a real strong pivot level, but a pivot level nonetheless. Okay. So, you know, I'm not telling you that all these are great trades. I'm just telling you this, you know, a lot of these I would take a chance, you know, in something like this. Let me zoom in a little bit and let's take a look at some of the other ones. This is kind of interesting to me, and the reason is the trend line. You can see the trend line I draw there. There you go. There you have it. Look where it's bouncing right off this trend line, going back to March low. You got 2 points, and now you got 3 points. That is a nice trend there. And also, let's see if we have any congestion of a pivot. Kind of, yeah. There's a little bit of pivot there. So this one right here is interesting to me. That's the kind of, you know, I like the idea of side play. Looks like it's some sort of gaming stock. It's got nice cash to debt ratio, some good quarterly growth. Something like this I would probably be interested in. Okay, I know if it breaks that trend and closes below it, I'd be out. So that could be an opportunity there. KMX, CarMax. It looks like the trend is right at the 200-day or just below it. So this right here, I feel like this could bleed down some more. You can see the support right here, guys. So this to me, I would like to, it's too early for me. Okay, I would rather it come down, maybe test this 200, go just below it. Maybe I come in and I put a price alert right here, just in case it goes off. All right, Overstock. Boy, did that have a move from, geez, what was that, like $2 all the way to 127. This one probably may need to blow off some more steam. You know, I'm not seeing, obviously I had a little bounce today, but to me, I don't know, when they've had that kind of move, it may want to bleed down some more. You kind of got a little bit of support here, but nothing strong there for me. You know, I'd like to see a little bit more of construction. I'm not seeing it. Looky here, PIN, a very interesting one right here. All right, I don't need to draw the trend line. You can see it's above the trend. If I drew one from this March low, it would come. Let's just draw it. I got time. Yeah, well above that trend. Pivot level, I would say the pivot level probably is closer, you know, to right in around here. Looks like it's trying to hold right here, but we could bleed through to this level down here, and the trend's a little bit lower. But I do like the fact that it held that 50-period moving average, so we'll see. I don't know. To me, it just I would like a little more of a sell-off there, but hey, one to keep an eye on nonetheless. Same goes with this one. I feel like it's in no man's land right there. This is what I'm saying. You have to use your eyeball to look for trends, you know, trend lines and pivot levels, and this is kind of, to me, in no man's land. I'm just not great on that one. But anyway, there's one right there. One can see you can see a lot of these trends, guys, just with the naked eye. Just with the naked eye. So you know, something you may keep, I don't know what the heck going on this day right here. That's kind of scary. So I don't know. This is not one. Little energy focus. I'm not sure. Lighting equipment. But anyway, guys, I'm going to share this for those of you guys who like to look for opportunity on, you know, not afraid to buy stocks that are pulling back a little bit at a time. This could be a great little tool for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share this with you, and I'll drop it into the channel. The chat window of your GoToWebinar interface.
And Andy, while you're doing that, Paul there was asking a question, would an
Okay.
RSI be applicable in this technique that you're displaying here?
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, Paul, because I actually put one in there today when I was looking at DraftKings, and it came out to be around 35. Yeah, it can be. It can be. If you're looking for extremely oversold conditions, especially in charts that are solid on the daily time frame, and not only that, take a look at the weeklies. A lot of times those weekly charts and really kind of help you see the bigger picture. Let me drop this in there and I'll show you. I put pivot and channel. Why did I do that? It's pivot and trend. It's the only thing I'm going to drop it in there. So there you go. So yeah, you can come in here and drop in an RSI. And what you want to do, it used to be, it was defaulted to 14. You couldn't change it, but now you can put in the numbers you want to use. I'm just going to use your basic 14, I believe it is. Make sure your spacing's correct there. All right, and let's pull up DraftKings. All right, and you can see there the RSI. Yeah, it'd been beaten up earlier when I looked at it. It was at 35 today. Had a little bounce there, but yeah, I could see where that could be a help, Paul. As you know, I'm one that tries not to look at too many indicators because sometimes they can cloud my judgment. But I'm more of a kind of a trend, support, resistance kind of guy, and price and direct, and volume. But yeah, that could I could definitely see why somebody might want to use that. All right, let's do this now. Let's yeah, I shared that, guys, so it could be a nice little tool, and you can do more with it if you wanted to add more filters to it. I just put something together very basic, so grab it and see what you can add to even make it better if you want to. Get another drink of water here. All right, real quickly before we dive into all I wanted to say, guys, is a lot of times I can tell, by my trading and by the three guys that I trade a small fund with. We've had a great year. We've doubled the account this year in our swing trading. But that being said, the last couple of weeks, I've just noticed it's been difficult. Not getting killed. Luckily, we're all experienced traders, and when we see we're struggling, what do? We do what any wise trader would do. You pull back your size. You have less trades. Okay. 3 weeks ago, you may have seen 15 trades on our blotter. I think right now there's maybe 5, and they're smaller in size. So, but anyway, to get back to my point, I'm seeing the gap ups. We'll get stocks that are gapping up. They'll sell off pretty hard, and yeah, it's just kind of nasty. And I think it's all due to the election coming up. I think a lot of people are taking advantage of any gaps to kind of thin out their portfolio or whatever, just for the election, and I don't blame them. So I just want to say that could be, we could be looking at that, until after the election. So if you are one now for day trading, if you're looking for momentum and trade, that's fine. You don't have to worry about things like that. But if you're, unless you're trading slower stuff and you're not trading, momentum, news items, then it can be difficult. No direction. But anyway, if you are a swing trader or even an investor, it's probably a good idea, to maybe pull back and just kind of wait out till we get through the election. All right, let's do the, what? And speaking, this is another sign, Jamie, the price alerts. Okay. These are our price alerts. You guys can see all the names. Look how much red we got, Jamie. The first 2 weeks, we probably had 60% of them were winners. And now we got one winner. And that would be David H. with GameStop. And all the rest of them you can see here on the blotter are kind of, we had a couple that are still working that never triggered, but the rest of them are all red. So David H., you get the blue ribbon this week. Good job. I mean, but that tells you right there, okay, that, things are getting harder. or you can just take a look at all of our price alerts, which I thought were great when we set them, but there's just no follow through right now. Let's see what Kelly has to say here. What is your year-to-date performance in your represented personal portfolio? I don't go into that. As a matter of fact, I'm nowhere near a double. That's for sure. Like we did, I've been more active in our fund that we're trading. So in my personal account, it's more of a kind of a retirement, play money that I don't get that aggressive in. It's definitely had a good year, but I don't know the exact numbers, Kelly. And but we definitely track, our portfolio pretty that the four of us run, because we have kind of another incentive behind that if we do, anyway, that we're striving for, I should say. So, all right, so let's do it again. Let me wipe out these and we will add some more price alerts. All right, good job. David H is the big winner. So I am going to delete these. All right, and let's start again. And here's the thing, guys. Dave is showing you how. Okay, I need you to give me a symbol and then give me the price target. The price alert. What price you want to set it at. And Dave starts off with Maxim. I think I saw this the other day and it did look good. Yes, it does. That's a sweet looking chart there. And he wants it at 74, looks like. Okay. Uh-oh, it's at 74.36 in after hours. Okay, I'm going to have to go just above that. And hopefully it doesn't go off. All right. Oh, wait. What the heck? Where'd the price alert go? I did it too quick. All right. And that is Dave. Not Cave, Dave. All right, the next one is Saber, S-A-B-R at 725. 725. He's looking for a pullback. I like it. Somebody's throwing in a pullback here. And we need to put long. I'm assuming you want a long trade there on that, Jeff. I'm sorry, that's Slava. Jeff has GOLD at 2710, the gold play. And that is Jeff. Waleed, BKNG. Ooh, had a big move today on some nice volume there. And you want some continuation, looks like 1798. We'll get a little bit of head start there. There we go. Stan the man comes in with LAC at $10. Looking for a pullback. I like it. All right. Who else we got here? Bill Enberg has DHI at 71.50. All right, Joshua Coleman. Let's see. Okay, he's just making a comment. Okay, about EPG FF. We'll take a look at that in a minute. DFS long at 68. Yeah, that was an earnings play, right? 68. You sure you want to? No, I can see that. Yeah, let's put it in there. And that was IMA, is that right? All right, H. Daniel has H at 60.25. Oh, yeah, nice little breakout there, possibly. Daniel E. All right. All right, that looks like everybody. That's some good alerts. Let me share them with you guys, so everybody can kind of keep track. There they are. All right, and I'll drop them in the window again, the chat window. Call it PAs. All right, may the best man or woman win. Thank you guys, appreciate it for playing. All right, that I think wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much, very much for your great questions today. I'm going to bring Scott in. You guys hang on. He will have a discount code for you to join if you like.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. A couple items on the way out, just to review. There is a daily support session every day on our YouTube channel. The easiest way to find it is to go to trade-ideas.com/live. Check out the programming list there. We do question and answers at 12 p.m. Eastern, some demos, and then also simulcast the trading room before and after that. There's an earnings ebook. We're going to have a new ebook launching probably this week, so grab this one before we take it off of this page. Go to trade-ideas.com/earnings and grab that. It's got some great strategies for you to employ to take advantage of earnings season and some layouts that you can import into your Trade Ideas download. We have a podcast. We just released a new podcast recently. And search for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to your pods. As a discount code, fall savings, saves 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas or upgrade. And you can find Jamie on Twitter at QuantBot. It's also at Today Traders, Steve Gomez, and Trade Ideas Pro is the Facebook handle to share with your friends. Thanks, everyone. We're going to have that recording up later on tonight or tomorrow, so stay tuned for an email tomorrow with that link. Thanks, Jamie. Thank you, Andy. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see some of you in the support session tomorrow. And Kelly,
See you tomorrow.
Kelly, for that educational video, if you would, just send an email to info right there where he's showing you at trade-ideas.com, and we'll get you that. Bye-bye.